Imagine this. It's 2017 and all of a sudden, cryptocurrency, a virtual currency that can't be counterfeited or manipulated because every transaction is secured by tamper-proof computer code, has got everyone talking. Not just coders and tech bros.
Every bar I go into, the bartender wants to talk about Bitcoin.
Brother, can you spare a Bitcoin?
Bitcoin. You never heard of them a few weeks ago? Now everybody's talking about them, but is it a currency?
I don't know. Or is it more like a stock?
Or is
We're
it
going to
just
debate that.
stupid?
Ponzi scheme and the greater fool theory right now.
Maybe I should get some. Do you have any?
I'll tell you what, I don't know what to do exactly with Bitcoin.
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 The Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
Now everyone seems to know someone who threw a few thousand into Bitcoin early on and who is now quit your job and retire in the Caribbean rich. And plenty of people are wondering how they can get in on the game. Let's say you're interested too. One day, you come across a new cryptocurrency that looks poised to become the next Bitcoin. It's called Plexcoin, and it's about to hit the market in what's known as an ICO, or initial coin offering. Here's the pitch. The ultra-secure Plexcoin is going to revolutionize global economics. Users will be issued with Plex cards which, unlike any other credit card created to date, will fully adapt to different geographic locations, letting you spend in dollars, pounds, rupees, or pesos without ever incurring exchange fees, unlike other cryptocurrencies which in 2017 were only accepted by a minuscule selection of vendors. Plexcoin can be used just like real money to pay off any bill. And if you're one of the lucky investors that gets in on the ground floor, you can purchase tokens for half price in an exclusive presale. That shakes out to just 13 cents a token. If all those presale tokens sell, the price will jump to $1.76 a token. So, are you in? If you said no, then you just saved yourself a lot of hypothetical money. Plexcoin's pitch was full of red flags. Those outlandish claims about Plex card holders never having to worry about exchange rates and investors being able to use Plexcoin to pay their utility bills, they sounded too good to be true, because they were. And there was nothing clairvoyant about Plexcoin's insights into the rising future price of Plexcoin tokens. It's simply impossible to accurately predict what value a currency, crypto or otherwise, will hold in the coming weeks or months. If you'd done some digging, you'd have found more red flags. For one thing, it's standard practice for crypto companies to release a report ahead of their ICO, outlining how they'll allocate the funds the ICO is projected to raise. Plexcoin did that about 90 minutes before their presale started. That didn't leave eager investors much time to do their research before buying in. In fact, there was no information about who was behind Plexcoin at all. According to Plexcoin, this was for undisclosed security reasons. They could have at least mimicked the equally scammy crypto startup Benebit and copy-pasted a photo from an elite British boys' school to use on their staff page. Plexcoin's ICO raised $15 million. But their tokens never really rose in value, and their investors never saw the promised ROI. Plexcoin's founders never expected they would. They siphoned off as much of that $15 million as they could before they were arrested for fraud. Most investors never saw their money again. In 2009, when Bitcoin was launched, one token was worth less than a cent. By 2014, one Bitcoin token was valued at roughly $800. No wonder investors were looking to get a foot in the door of the next big cryptocurrency. And in September 2014, OneCoin burst onto the scene. Its charismatic founder, Dr Ruja Ignatova, all but guaranteed early investors the same staggeringly high returns Bitcoin was now delivering. Dr Ruja hyped OneCoin as a truly innovative online currency, secured with cutting-edge blockchain technology. But while the product she was sproiking was ultra-modern, she was, in reality, running one of the oldest scams in the book. While eager investors were buying up OneCoin's ICO, Dr. Ruja was partnering with a notorious businessman whose involvement with OneCoin should have set alarm bells ringing. This was Igor Alberts, a Dutch businessman who had earned hundreds of millions spearheading multi-level marketing schemes, or MLMs. In an MLM, marketers earn not just by selling products, but by recruiting other sellers and taking a cut of all of the profits those sellers, known as the downline, generate. Together, Dr. Ruja and Alberts implemented a similar structure at OneCoin. Investors were incentivized to bring in more investors, with the promise of a very generous 25% cut of any profits from their downline. Some investors grew very rich very quickly thanks to these incentives, but their profits were all coming from their downline and not from the intrinsic value of OneCoin itself. So, what was the intrinsic value of OneCoin? Well, here's where it gets really tricky. On the surface, OneCoin appeared to be gaining value. Investors could look at their wallets and see just how much their tokens were worth on any given day, but cryptocurrency is effectively worthless unless it can be exchanged for other forms of crypto or for cash. There are numerous online platforms that facilitate these exchanges. OneCoin was never listed on any of them. According to Dr. Ruja, it was building its own exchange, but this exchange never materialized. Why didn't the fact that OneCoin couldn't be exchanged for any other form of currency raise concern? Well, lots of investors trusted the value they saw in their wallets, and with good reason. Cryptocurrency is ultra-secure, thanks to the blockchain databases where it's stored. Every transaction is written into the database in independent code that can't be overwritten. This means not even the inventor of the code can alter a token's value. There's just one problem here. Although Dr. Ruja told her investors otherwise, OneCoin never actually used blockchain. Instead, every single OneCoin token was stored in a different database, one that Dr. Ruja could not only access, but manipulate without detection. The values investors saw in their wallets? Totally fabricated. So, OneCoin was never a legitimate currency. And it wasn't even a shifty MLM, it was something worse, a Ponzi scheme. Authorities, regulators, and banks around the world began warning investors that OneCoin was most likely a Ponzi scheme. Existing customers got spooked and tried to offload their tokens. New investors proved harder to attract, and the downline began to dry up. It seemed inevitable that OneCoin would soon collapse and Dr. Ruja would be brought to account. But Dr. Ruja had other ideas, and she certainly had no intention of paying back the millions she had fleeced from trusting investors. In 2017, she boarded a Ryanair flight from Sofia, Bulgaria, to Athens, Greece. She was, allegedly, met at the airport by some Russian connections. She hasn't been seen since. What happened to Dr. Ruja? There are all kinds of theories out there, but of all of these wild possibilities, there's one that's particularly implausible. The possibility that OneCoin's investors will ever see their money again. Dr. Ruja's mysterious disappearance isn't exactly unique among dodgy crypto founders. The exit scam, where a founder suddenly disappears, taking their investors' money with them, has quickly become a classic maneuver in cryptocurrency circles. But while most exit scams leave investors wondering whether a scam artist founder is still alive, one alleged exit scam has left investors questioning whether a founder is really dead. On the crypto scene, Gerald Cotten had a reputation as a wonderkind. He founded the Canada-based crypto exchange QuadrigaCX at the precocious age of 25. Even more impressive, in a notoriously unregulated online space, QuadrigaCX had a reputation for being quick, safe, and totally above board. QuadrigaCX wasn't a big player to start with, but knowledgeable investors rated the exchange as both a reliable platform for trading cryptocurrencies or converting crypto to cash, and as a secure, temporary storage place for crypto assets. Then, Cotten was dealt a lucky hand. 6 weeks after QuadrigaCX was launched, a series of cyber attacks targeted other, larger exchanges like QuadrigaCX, Vault of Satoshi, and Mt. Gox, seriously damaging their security credentials. Not long after that, Bitcoin's value started to soar. And that was very good news for Cotten. Unlike other exchanges, QuadrigaCX made money by taking a small percentage of every trade done on the platform. Suddenly, tokens that had been trading for a few $100s were trading for tens of thousands. And every time, QuadrigaCX got a healthy cut. Cotten enjoyed his newfound wealth, purchasing multiple homes, yachts, private jets, and even an island. Cotten financed his impressively expensive lifestyle with QuadrigaCX's profits, and by dipping into the coins others had stored on his exchange. It turns out, QuadrigaCX's reputation as one of the safest exchanges around was unfounded. Unlike other crypto exchanges, Quadriga didn't grant investors access to individual wallets. There was, in fact, only one wallet, and only one person, it transpired, could access the estimated $250 million worth of tokens stored there. Gerald Cotten had access to every single token stored on QuadrigaCX. He also had a habit of using those tokens to trade under false names, spinning still more profits that went straight into his own pockets. In 2018, Cotten married his girlfriend Jennifer Robertson. The pair were enjoying a typically lavish honeymoon in India when Cotten unexpectedly died of complications from Crohn's disease. It was a tragic end to a happy holiday. It was a financial tragedy too, for all the investors storing crypto in QuadrigaCX. Because when Cotten died, he took all the private keys needed to access the tokens that were stored on his exchange with him. Many in the crypto community, among them Cotten's creditors, believe he faked his death. They've even called for an exhumation of his remains. They note the shady circumstances around his death, right down to the misspelling of his name on his death certificate. Cotten drafted a will a mere 4 days before he died. After his death, rather than sending his body to the embalmers, as was their usual practice, the hospital sent Cotten's corpse back to his hotel. The hotel then sent the corpse to the embalmer, but the embalmer didn't accept the body, stating that there was no cause of death supplied alongside Cotten's corpse. Eventually, a medical college did the deed. Cotten's widow accompanied the body back to Canada, where Cotten was given a closed casket funeral, but she didn't announce his death for another month. In the meantime, QuadrigaCX was still accepting new customers. One of Cotten's contractors remembered that Cotten kept a safe bolted to his attic rafters. This contained many, if not all, of the private keys needed to access the crypto stored on QuadrigaCX. Hearing of Cotten's death, the contractor went to the house. Reportedly, all they found in the attic were 4 holes in the rafters where the safe had once been bolted. The keys, like Cotten himself, had disappeared. The crypto market has had more than its fair share of big scams. Funnily enough, some of the biggest scams revolve around some of the smallest, least successful currencies. YouTubers in the cryptosphere got in on the action too. Their signature move? Release a seemingly informational clip about a promising niche currency, a currency they've already bought into, thus luring inexperienced investors to pump up the price. While still sproiking the currency in their online videos, the crypto YouTuber quietly sells off their own holdings. This kind of trade is known as a pump and dump. For many people, the mad rush into cryptocurrencies has evoked feelings of the Wild West. As the crypto ecosystem continues to gain scale and complexity, it will undoubtedly remain a top focus of scammers by understanding the common ways that scammers try to steal your information and ultimately your money. Let me know in the comments what you think about crypto in general. I'd like to hear your opinions, and thanks for watching.